भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वृंदावन प्यारे लाल की जय। सच्चे सनातन धर्म की जय। With flowers in hand, we pray. Once more, we bow at your lotus-like feet, O Bhagwan Vishnu. And this is the final session of our Yagna. And so we pray to you, Paramatma. You have afforded unto us the opportunity to worship you for all of these days and all of these nights. And so this morning, with gratitude, humbled as we are, we sit before you, giving you thanks, showing our love and our appreciation to you, expressing our gratitude through our devotion. May you accept our offerings this morning, we beg of you. Hari Om Sri Ganesha Namah. Hari Om Saraswate Namah. Hari Om Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Govinda Namo Namah. Viganeshwaraya Varadaya Surapralambhodharaya Sakalaya Jagathitaya Nagasrutyagya Vibhushita Gauri Sutaya Gananatha Namo Namaste. Sarvamangalamangale Shive Sarvatisatike Sharane Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Narayanaya Vidme Vasudevaya Dhimai Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो
नारायण भगवान की जय. We ignite the flames in our ears. The Mahalakshmi, bear witness. Deepa Jyotir Para Brahma, Deepa Jyotir Janardhana, Deepo Haritami Papam, Deepo Yam Vrati Gretam, Shubham Karotu Kalyanam, Marogyam Sukhasamparam, Mama Shatru Vinasha, Deepa Jyotir Namostute. We bid on Mukti with water, with the Amrit, with the Panchamrit. We pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We offer clothing to Bhagwan. To you, God, who have blessed us with the gift of clothing, we offer clothing in our worship. To you, who we depend on for protection, we offer to you the Yagyopavi Dijanayu. May you be pleased with us. Om Sri Vishnavi Namah. Om Namo Narayana Namaha. Om Sri Paramatmani Namah. Veda Suktam Svayuktam Yagya Shama Samanvite Sarve Prare Deva Vasase Prate Gretam Sarvabhushadike Lumya Lakcha Nivarana Mayupakar Vasram Upavasram Prati Gretam Vasradanam Samarpyami Vasram Prati Gretam Chandan, perfume. May you illumine the pathway of our lives. May you rid us of lust and anger and hatred and jealousy and ego and pride. May you guide us onto the pathway of mukti, salvation. We beg of you, listen to our prayer. Chandanam Sulalitam Deva Kante Chamuktavani Gopa Sri Paridevi Jaite Gopala Churamani Gandhadvara Tudarasham Tya Pushpa Karishinim Ishwaram Tamo Sri Gandhadanam Samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Parimala Dravya, we offer Hardi for purification. We offer Sindhu, praying for Mukti, salvation. At a time when that may come, may you be pleased with us, Paramatma, we beg of you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We offer to you Dukras, praying, asking and begging that as we have rooted this cross, may you root away our troubles and our problems and our distresses. We offer to you the veil lilies, turning them downwards, asking and begging, may you disappoint our enemies, And may you allow us the strength and the fortitude to smile through our difficulties. Through the medium of these knees, we offer our very existence at your feet. Hey Paramatma, hey Bhagwan, God Supreme, be pleased with us, we beg of you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We offer flowers, symbolic of our love, to Paramatma. I'm happy to see that you brought your flowers this morning. Now that you have been brought to the conscious state of knowing that I should offer what I can, however I can, obtaining in my own humble way, Paramatma will be pleased with all of us. Om Mallityarini Sugandhini Mallityarini Ve Prabhu Maya Tani Pujatam Pushpani Pratigretam Chakme Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Par Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Aarti Yani Kani Japa Pani Jamandar Kirtani Sta Tani Tani Prakshana Prakshana Prare Prare Deepam Darshyami Deepam Samarpayami. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Jai Jagadish Hare. भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे. ओम जय जगदीश हरे.
जय जगदीश हरे. स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे. भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे. ओम जय जगदीश हरे.
I recognize your presence in my mother. I recognize your presence in my father. I recognize your presence in the plant and the animal kingdom. I recognize your presence in my friends and my foe. May they all be blessed with the light of understanding and knowledge and wisdom. I beg of you, may success come to even those who wish me bad. Listen to my prayer. माता पिता तुम मेरे शरण कहो किसकी. प्रभु बिन और न दूजा,
प्रभु बिन और न दूजा।
आस करो जिसकी,
ओम जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे।
श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण, भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
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 सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवी, भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदायिनी, मंत्र मूर्ते सदा देवी, माँ लक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण,
श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण,
भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
स्वामी नारायण नारायण नारायण,
स्वामी नारायण नारायण नारायण,
भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण,
श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण,
श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण।
श्रीमन्नारायण नारायण नारायण।
भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
भज मन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
Naivedya, we prepare to offer Persad. The Persad that we prepared with faith and conviction. For Scripture has declared that this appeases you. And so, following the guidelines according to Scripture, we are prepared using the finest ingredients, mixing and turning these pots with bhakti, with devotion, not to impress you, Bhagwan, but to show gratitude to you. We humbly offer this naivedyam, this food to you, with our eyes closed, hoping that when we open our tongue, you would have eaten and you would have partaken of what we have prepared. We pray that if our intentions were not pure, may they all be purified. We pray that if the ingredients were not pure, may they be purified now. And so we pray, O Bhagwan, may you be pleased with us. May your children be pleased with us. Apavitra pavitra sarvavastam gatopiva yasmarit pundari kaksha sabahim tara suche. Talk to him this morning. Ask him. Pray to him. Beg him. Tell him. He is listening to you. Remember the souls of our Pitras. Wherever their souls are, He Paramatma, may you grant unto them salvation. May you bring comfort where there is distress. May you bring wealth where there is poverty. May you bring clothing where there is suffering and trouble. May you bring protection where there is calamity. We beg of you, O Paramatma, may you be food where there is hunger. May you bring peace of mind where there is trouble. Hey Paramatma, we beg of you this morning, listen to our prayer, listen to our prayer. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Bandhavam Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Bandhavam Janaki Nayakam रामचन्द्र भजे जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरि श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्र भजे जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्र भजे हरे राम हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्र भजे ब्रह्मर्पणं ब्रह्मावेदं ब्रह्मणो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मागतेन गन्ताव्यं ब्रह्मकर्मा समाधिनां शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं परमनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसार्विसं मेघवर्णं सुभागे लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिविज्ञानमन्यं वन्दे विष्णुभावहरणं सर्वलोकैकनाथं नैवेद्यं निवेदयामि नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि ब्रह्मर्पणं ममस्तु कृष्णार्पणम् नारायण भगवान की जय तांबूल we have a superior of a cloak. May you bless us with longevity and good health, we beg of you. May we prosperous. Hey Paramatma, be pleased with us. With purity we bow our heads at thy feet. Be gracious unto us. Tambulam samarpyami achmanyam. We offer drops of water. For very existence is sustained on water. For body is made of a high percentage of water. As an act of gratitude for existence, we offer water to you. Be pleased with us. Achmanyam samarpyami. We are sustained on wealth. And so wealth can be identified by money. We offer money to you which is of no significance, O Bhagwan. But we offer money to you, reminding you that we depend on wealth to sustain ourselves. And so you have provided for us in the past. May you continue to provide for us. And this morning as we offer wealth to you, may you provide for those who are less fortunate than ourselves. Hey Paramatma, who else can we turn to? We turn to you with conviction from our hearts. Listen to our prayer. Listen to our prayer. Dakshina danam samarpyami. We offer beautiful flowers. Achyutam keshavam ramanarayanam Krishna damodaram Vasudevam Hare Sridharam Madhavam Gopika-Vallavam Sridharam Madhavam Gopika-Vallavam Janaki-Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje Janaki-Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje Hare Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Sridharam Madhavam Gopika-Vallavam Sridharam Madhavam Gopika-Vallavam Janaki-Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje Janaki-Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली ज्ञान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली जान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
चित चोदा यशोदा की बात नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
चित चोरा यशोदा की बात नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
चित जोधा यशोदा की बात नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
चित चोरा यशोदा की बात नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
चित जोधा यशोदा की बात नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
चित चोरा यशोदा की बात नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे गोपी गोपी बाला। गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि हे मुरली गान लोला।
Sitaram, everyone. A pleasant good morning to everyone who is viewing on Sankira TV and Facebook Live. It is again once more a great privilege and blessing for all of us to be here to listen to the last session of this. I'm already getting very emotional by saying the last session. Welcome to the two mamas on the stage. It's really, really a pleasure to have both of you here. On behalf of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation and Pandit Sunil Seetahal, we owe a debt of gratitude for all of you for being here and for absorbing all that was said and shared for the last 20 sessions. It is a sad, a bittersweet day for us because a lot of us, we really don't want this Yagna to end, but as all good things comes to an end, this too will end. Until another time, of course. So this morning, we look forward to listening to the final session of the Saptaha Yagna and to the Gaudan. And I am sure that today is going to be very, very memorable for all of us. And as long as we live, we will remember this first Bhagwat that the Ganesh Utsav Foundation has hosted. The experience was indeed one that everyone should at least experience once in their lifetime. And I urge you, if you haven't attended or listened, you can go back and look at the recordings on YouTube or Facebook Live on Sankhya page or 103 page. Or we'll share it also on the Ganesh Utsav page. So Sitaram and enjoy the rest of today.
Vrindavan Mirnilan ki jai. Karav jai Artili ji. Let us all please stand as we join in the opening arti. Shubham karotu kalyanam arogyam sukha samparam amashatru vinashaya deepa jyotir namostute mokam karoti vachalam pangulam gete girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam. Bhagwat Arti. भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला हरि गाने वरदाने हरि गाने जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारनी।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारनी।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी ये दुख हरनी,
ये सुख करनी ये दुख हरनी।
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारनी।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारनी।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल, सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल, सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही।
सबकी महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारनी।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारनी।
हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद गोपाल।
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 हे नंद नंद आनंद नंद यदु नंद नंद गोपाल।
हे नंद नंद आनंद नंद 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 गोपाल।
हे नंद नंद आनंद नंद यदु नंद नंद गोपाल।
हे नंद नंद आनंद नंद नंद नंद
बोलो
गोपाल।
हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद 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 गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल,
आनंद नंद गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला। सुख करनी, हे दुख हरनी,
हे सुख करनी, हे दुख हरनी,
हे मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती,
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती,
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती,
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम,
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम,
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
वृंदावन यदिलाल की जय। आसन पर बैठे, let us all please be seated. My adorations, my prostrations at the lotus-like feet of my beloved Mata, who is seated at my side, Matri Devo Bhava. My pure obeisance at the lotus-like feet of my beloved Father, Pita Devo Bhava. Aditi Devo Bhava. I bow at the lotus-like feet of my Guru, and by extension, all of you who have graced us this morning. Wherever you are, locally, regionally, or maybe even internationally, in your homes, in your cars, in your places of work, wherever you are, we say welcome. This morning, to our kind and our corporate sponsors, we express sentiments of gratitude and expressions of thanks. And so this morning, as we prepare our minds and our souls to listen to the beautiful Katha, Heart Jot Binti Karo, we bow heads in prayer. वर्णानामृत संगानां रसानां चंद्रसामपि मंगलानां च करितारो वन्दे वाणी विनायको भवानी शंकरो वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ते सिद्धस्वान्तस्तमीश्वर। भागवत सुमिरन। रिधि सिद्धि दाता सिद्ध शरण वारन वरेना सुमिरो बारंबार मदन करन की लाल को। गणपति कृपा निदान ज्ञान कान्य आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वरनो भाषा भागवता। जय शिवानंद कंद भूतनाथ भव्य हरना भक्ति विषय निर्द्वार गौरवरन मंगल करना। ब्रज चंद्र मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरिणा कठोपव बेपन शरण शरण नियान करा। जय 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 जगदीश श्वेत शेष महेश यज महिमा मितय वेद वेद जानत नहीं। देहु मोहि वरदान राधा वदया वद सदा प्रेम बड़े मुस्कान नित चित में कटे कटे रहे। मोहि चाहिए कचुनाई और वास्तु प्रभु जगत के बस ही रे मन माए या भाकी जानकी सदा। नीन कुटिया गायन की पीछे पिरत वाली पाली लीसा मोर मुकुट सिर परिदरे। कर मुरनी उर्मार शेष मुकुट के पीत पता या चबिसो नंदला बस हुई दे मम ऋषि दिवस। गुरु पर रज दर्शीष करहु भागवत की कथा जो सुग्रीव मुनीश कई परीक्षित निरपति सोए। This morning, can you who have been seated for 7 days and 7 nights listening to the Bhagwat Katha, you're feeling sad, you're feeling pain, you're crying, everybody's in tears, there is some level of emotion that is being felt. Can you imagine this morning what is the emotion of Raja Parikshit and the beings around him, his relatives, his friends, his disciples? He's the king. He's the king who, when he dies, the dark age will begin. Trouble, distress, discomfort, pain, agony, hurt will come. He is seated just like us, and he's about to listen to the final katha. And sitting there, while we may, or might, or could, or will have the ability to get up tomorrow morning, Raja Parikshit knows he's about to die. We feel pain because we will not enjoy each other's company again until maybe the next event or the next puja, or maybe until Thursday. But then Thursday will seem to be very far away, isn't it? But Raja Parikshit, he's about to leave. He's about to make his final exit. I've chosen this morning to end with the katha that we began with. And we began with that beautiful katha where Raja Parikshit, he placed the snake around the neck of Shringi Rishi. And so a shrap was placed, a curse was placed, that a dead snake will come to life. Do you know how much things, how much situations, they're better left dead and behind us, but we hang them and put them in a place where we can see them all the time. And when we see it, it aggravates our very existence. And we're forced to react. The snake around the neck of this Maharishi is what has caused this entire thing to unfold. And you know what about the snake? A dead snake. There are many things that we should allow to die and go. And let it be behind you. But we choose to wear it in front of us. We'll be reminded all the time. Yesterday, my mother and I, we had a beautiful discussion. And I said to her, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes, the best thing to do is to listen. And to remember that there was a time when I, as a child, depended on you for advice. But sometimes you must listen to the advice of your children as well. And I'm saying to her that age doesn't always bring wisdom. And age doesn't always signify that you are brilliant and you're smart. Because there are many people who have aged. But I don't know what is the right thing to say. Maybe I shouldn't say. Sometimes, not all the time, it is okay to give up and to start afresh, to begin anew. Sometimes it is okay to realize that I need to hold on to the things and the beings that will add value to my life and not cause distress and pain. Sometimes it is important for us to analyze and to sit and think and reflect. Am I my best friend or am I my worst enemy? I try my best to treat everybody, but how have I treated myself? What have I done for me? You know what you have done for yourself? You have listened to the Bhagwat Katha. You have performed worship. You have glorified Bhagwan according to scripture. It says the merits that can be achieved or attained out of this, not just by doing this, but by doing this with the right intention and with purity, the merits cannot be measured. There are many things that happen during this yagna that I can't even begin to understand or explain. But I know that once we are pure and there is a will, Bhagwan will always create a way. Always remember that. Raja Parikshit sits there and preparations are being made for this final session, this final chanting this morning. Nobody wanted to come to this stage. I came here and I sat and then everybody started trickling in. Final session. But the Bhagwat Yagna does not end today. The Bhagwat Yagna does not end now this morning. The Bhagwat Yagna continues to live on through us and through the teachings that were imparted to us, so that we can become polished. And God realized, when you think of polish, you're thinking powder and makeup and lipstick. Well, I want to tell you, those are ornaments to your body. But you have decorated your soul with the devotion and with the act of worship that you have performed. Many are called and few are. Never be called. Never wait for anybody to take up the phone and call your name. There's some people, if you don't call them and say, come here, and you have to beg them to pray. An opportunity has been given to the entire group that every Thursday there will be a Havan. And that opportunity was given to everybody. But you know, Thursday is the most busiest day of your whole life. Thursday is the day you don't have time. And then somebody has to call you every Thursday to say, come here, come here. But you see, I just celebrated an old birthday. And I am not going back to my old ways. If you are willing, just like God, God helps those who help them. That's not the proverb, you know. That's not the proverb. We're very selective when we use proverbs. And we leave out what we think we should and we add in what we think we should. You know what that proverb says? God helps those who first try to help themselves. Who try. It is better to try and fail than fail to. Those are words that comes from scripture. We use those words every day loosely and freely. But we use words. And how powerful are those words? How important are those words? Raja Parikshit. The scene is set and the final canto of the Bhagwat is about to be chanted. What will happen? Listen, it tells us. Sriman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan Bhajman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan
Sriman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan Bhajman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan
Sriman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan Bhajman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan
Sriman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan Bhajman Narayan ne Narayan Narayan
कश्यप देख श्राप दिया करही अति कह कह राजन आसन देते देकर पथा ओ फूल चढ़ावत की उनकर दे कर दिया विप्र नहीं श्रीमन नारायण नारायण ने नारायण भजमन नारायण ने नारायण ने नारायण
Sriman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan Bhajman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan
Raja Parikshit, he is seated and he remembers something. He remembers just before the reading will begin. He remembers the words of Samika Rishi, the son of Shringi Rishi. He remembers, he's remembering how he will die. He's remembering that. One auntie came up to me and she said to me, look at where we have come from. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I remember when I was a child, we would leap under the tree and we would go there and sit down to listen to the Bhagwat Katha. She said, and then we became a little more modernized. We started putting some carrot leaves to shield us from the sun when we listened to the Bhagwat Katha. She said, and our intention in going to the Bhagwat Katha was not to hear the prayers, She said, Baba, I could tell you a secret. How are you so interesting? I said, why? She said, those pundits were boring. And I said, Mama, never say that. It is because you couldn't understand what they were saying. It is because the way they communicated was different. And so they spoke the language of Hindi, taking it for granted that everybody could understand. She said, Baba, I couldn't understand. It was still boring. And I said, Mama, anything that you listen to and you don't listen with attention, it becomes boring, Mama. She said, Baba, you know why I used to go? Not to hear, for a little bit of Persad. That's why I will go. She said, Baba, the big basin of Persad will come and the Persad brung like me. She said, and they'll put their big hand down in the bowl and you say, today I get a handful. And then they give you a kunchi bit. She said, and I'll hold that kunchi bit of Persad in my hand and I will say, God, I wish that this Persad will not come to an end, because the least you get, the better it tastes, isn't it? The least you get, the better it tastes. She said, after I eat the Persad, I'll rub the ghee in my hand and put it in my hair. She said, till today, my hair is still black. I am not using any dye. She said, but look at where we have reached. We're sitting under a tent, on a floor with tiles, in a home with a swimming pool, and with food galore, and we're eating in an imitation leaf, and we're listening to a pundit who forces us to clap and sing and dance. And I feel a joy in my heart. Where were you when I was young? I said, I don't even know where I was. I said, maybe you could ask me where my mother was. And then I said, how old are you, Auntie? She said, I'm 84 years old. I said, well, you can't ask me about my mother. You'll have to ask me about my grandmother. And then automatically from calling auntie, I started to call her mama. Because she is not auntie, she is mama. Her age permits that respect. He's remembering the words. And remembering this, Raja Parikshit shows no emotion. No emotion. And sitting there, what will happen? Listen, it tells us. Sriman Narayan, Narayan ne Narayan, Bhajuman Narayan ne Narayan ne Narayan.
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan, Bhajuman Narayan Narayan Narayan.
कश्यप ऋषि का स्मरण होते करने वाले जिस और करण जानते ही राजा की रहते तथा होके देख और तराश का देख ऋषि और धान का उनकर बेर करने वाले तक्षत राजा के पास पैर हो करने हैं जिसमें का रूप अंधकार परीक्षित का हो कथा है जानते उसके का मृत्यु लोक का बनार होते श्रीमन नारायण ने नारायण ने नारायण भजमन नारायण ने नारायण ने नारायण
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan, Bhajuman Narayan Narayan Narayan.
All of the beings aware that Raja Parikshit will die. All of the beings aware that the final canto will be chanted. All of the beings uninvited, they made their way. Because they wanted to be there at that time when this good, noble, pious being might die or will die. When the sharp comes into play. And so uninvited as though they all made their way to that place. But not only the good people were going. There was somebody else who was going to that place. Why is it important for us to do a Gita at the beginning of the Yagna? And why is it important for us to do a Gita at the end of the Yagna? Do you know? Do you know? The first Gita, in the beginning, is praying to Bhagwan for the blessings of the Pitris. For no kind of worship should happen, no kind of major celebration, no kind of major event should unfold without remembering and recognizing our Pitris. But the second Gita is the purification. Because not everybody who came with good intentions. And not everybody who came with the right energy. And not everybody who came for the right purpose. And after we would have performed the rituals, we sit and we perform the Gita part. Asking now that as everything has been shantied and we have been permitted to perform the ritual, now may the home be brought back to a state of purification. That's how important the Gita part is. That's why we do the Gita after. And so, coming to that place was Takshat. Who is Takshat again? Takshat. Takshat is the dead snake. Takshat is coming to that place. But Takshat has been brought to life. And as Takshat is coming to that place, Takshat has taken on a disguise. Takshat has taken on a disguise. Takshat is looking like a saint, like a sadhu, like a holy man, wearing the chandan from end to end, wearing the mala and the dhoti and the kurta, and totally adorned. And Takshat is going to puja. You know, much people leave their home in shalwar and sari and kurta and dhoti, and you're going like a saint and you're sitting down. Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. You're clapping your hand. The both palms could hardly squeeze because you don't mash ants. Narayan, Narayan. And you're clapping in style. Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And when you're home, you're like a demon. When you're home, you're like Lankini, the doorkeeper of Lanka. Like Ravan's doorkeeper, blind, doing the wrong thing and expecting the right blessing. The only way Bhagwan in a murti will be able to bless you is when you see Bhagwan in the people around you. The only way Mother Durga will ever be able to bless you is when your mother blesses you. The only way Lord Shiva, your father, will bless you is when your father on the earth blesses you. Don't take it for granted that you treat your mother bad. The Devi Bhagwat begins, you know what the Devi Bhagwat begins by saying? A fool. It begins by saying a fool. The first words out of the book is a fool. A foolish being, a being of little intelligence, murk, dull-witted, unintelligent, sits in front of a murti of a Devi he has only heard of, offering clothes and offering Persad and offering flowers and offering mala and offering money and offering all these things to make a Devi in the heaven happy, and the mother starving. The mother have no clothes. The mother have no food. You're feeding a murti that can't eat, and your mother in trouble. What kind of merit will come out of that? You know much people have a puja in their home and they will never invite their own mother and their own father. And when mother and father find out, you say, well, I had a little thing. Well, I want to tell you, out of that little thing, it's like you have done nothing. Because you know why? You did not invite God. I insisted to my mother, I said, you have to come. And she's saying to me, well, you know, we will not get the time off because I took time off already for the year, and tra-la-la-la-la, and la-la-la-la-la, and la-la-la-la-la. And I said, full stop. If it means that you have to get fired, then you get fired. You have sons who will be able to look after your needs. You need to come. And I said to her, I am not asking you. I am telling you that I am not inviting you. I'm insisting that you must be here. And she said to me, well, let us come to a compromise. And I said to her, well, now we're talking. Because from nothing, I'm ending up with something. And it is better than nothing to have something. And then I said to her, I said, I don't want to talk to you about this. I'm going to call your boss. And she says, please don't. And I did exactly what she said not to do. And I said to them, I don't know if I would ever live again to have a Bhagwat. I don't know what my status will be. I have officiated at so much funerals, I don't know if she might die or I might die or anybody might die. But you must afford her the opportunity to come. And then she said, well, I will come in the middle because I can't come for the whole thing. And when it finished, I'll have to leave. I said, thank you. Thank you. I'm good with that. Matri Devo Bhava, because she is God first. She is God first before God in any book, and God in any murti, and God anywhere. And you must remember that. Raja Parikshit, he is seated there. And the preparations are made. And Takshat is looking like a holy man. Cindy, what makes you holy? I think that shalwar you're wearing holy. There are a lot of holes in that. What makes you holy? Ree, what makes you holy? Auntie Angie, what makes you holy? Doing the right thing? You just do that? Godson, what makes you holy? Don't know? Good Godson. Because your guru don't even know. Because the more holy you try to be, is the more tests stand in your pathway. And the more you try to tread onto the pathway of dharma and righteousness, is the more challenges and situations will come in front of you. And the more you try to climb, you know what will happen? Swami Vivekananda gives a beautiful example of what happens. When you try to climb the ladder of spirituality, you can be compared to that of a crab in a barrel with other crabs is. Because any time you try to go up, you know what happened? You know what happened? And pulling down doesn't come from a stranger, you know. Pulling down and tugging down doesn't come from somebody you can't identify, you know. You could identify them. You could see them, you could know them, you could appreciate them. And they pull with the hope of keeping you down, submerged, under them all the time. Well, I want to tell you, stop trying to crawl out and jump out. Never allow anybody to keep you down. Shine. Be brilliant. Be the best you that you could be. And so Takshat, he is going. And as Takshat is going, something will happen. I want you to clap and I want you to sing with me this morning. Everybody together. Bolo Shri Sitaram, Sitaram. सीताराम जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
मृत्यु देकर राजा बेटे दानव हो तब पांडव जैसे रूप आसन विनता देखी रक्षत देकर ब्राह्मण देखी सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
कश्यप ऋषि श्राप न होई देकर कन्ना जानता होई राजा लेकिन रहता देखी रक्षत ने ऋषि जान देखी सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
Coming to that place is Kashyap Rishi. Kashyap, he is a holy man and he is versed. He has been invited and he has been specially selected to come. He is invited to come. Why? Because he has the ability to extract, to take out venom. When snakes sting or bite or however you want to, it says he has the ability to extract venom. And if Raja Parikshit will die by a snake attacking him, then he's the right person to have. So life might be sustained. And so as this being, he was making his way invited, specially invited to the Yagna Shala. He meets with somebody. You know who he meets with? He meets with Takshat, the snake. But you see, the snake isn't crawling. You see, the snake is not under a rock or not hanging from a branch. The snake is looking like something that he could recognize. The snake is almost looking like him. And so because he sees the snake, the snake immediately recognizes him. And as the snake recognizes him, the snake tries to ensue a conversation. Trying to have a conversation. Listen to what the snake is telling the holy man who is able to bring life. One is going to bring death and the other is going to bring life. Listen to what death is telling to life. Listen to what death is telling to life. Listen. देकर उनका बार देखी तक्षत राजा पासन होई वीर का रूपा प्रेषणहारी देख परीक्षित कथा सुनाई राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
देख परीक्षित वेतन होई अंतर उसका मृत्यु लोके देकर दास पूर्वक होई प्रार्थना दे सुमिरत का होई सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
व्यापक हमरे देख स्वरूपा देकर सुमिरे दे अनुपा लोक सभी मृत्य लोका देकर दक्षिणा दक्षिणा देका राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
Takshat is saying to the sage, he says, where are you going? And the sage says, don't you know? It is the final morning of the Bhagwat. And so I must go to that place, for I was invited. I will wait until the snake attacks the king. And after the snake would have attacked the king, and we have the snake under control, then I will go and extract the venom. And while the snake is really finally dead, the king will come back to life. Hear who he is telling. Listen to who he is telling the plan. Listen to who he is narrating the good news to. Listen. Song familiar? Well, I want to tell you this morning with no apology. You're going to buy something? That's your business. Don't tell a single soul. You're going to do something for yourself? That's your business. Don't tell a single soul. There is something to celebrate in the family? Celebrate it quietly. Enjoy. Bask in the celebrations. Because you know why? You know why? Why? You figure it out. I think I got in enough trouble for the past 7 days. You see, my manufacturer's defect. He is telling, he says, now let me tell you. Takshat is talking to the Rishi. And Takshat says, oh Rishi, how foolish are you? Don't you know the Bhagwat came to an end and that was just a myth. And so, nothing happened to Raja Parikshit. He's still living, and why will you waste your time to go to that place? Nothing happened. Why don't you go back home? And the Rishi says, well, I'm already almost there. I might as well just go. And listen to what the snake is saying. Because a snake will think everybody else is a snake too. You know that? A snake will think everybody else is a snake. True enough. How will you know that? A good man will think everybody else good. A holy being will think everybody else is holy. Well, I've come to the realization that not everybody is the same. I've come to the realization that everybody is not me. I've come to the realization that what I will accept and what I will do and how I will react is not the way everybody will react. I've come to the understanding that we are all not on the same page. But you know why? You know why you have me? You know why you have me? To make sure you put a dot on the page that you are on and turn to the page that we are on. Because on the pathway to bhakti, everybody can't be on the pathway to mukti, Everybody's bhakti has to be the same, at the same level. We must all be devoted the same way. We mustn't have our own idea and our own interpretation. And we must all be on the same pathway. And if we are all on the same pathway, you know what will happen? What will happen? We will all succeed together. We'll all win together. And so he's saying, he said, I know why you're going, you know. The snake telling the holy man. He said, I know why you're going, you know. For the little dakshina. For what the gifts you'll get. That's why you're going. And the snake said, well, let me give you some dakshina now. I will give you some dakshina and you go back. And the rishi, you know that word dakshina, that word money, that word bribe, that word, you know that word? I don't even know that word. I don't want to use the wrong words, huh? So he accepts the dakshina. And he turns around and he begins to walk away. Takshat begins to sing and rejoice because Takshat has won. Never allow the snakes to win. Never. Always, if you have to pretend, though you know you lost, you know. Pretend if you have to. Smile when they expect you to be screaming and bawling and fainting and rolling. You smile. You wear your trouble with pride. Rejoice in your time of trouble because a time of celebration will come. When the snakes will be dead, they will not be able to rejoice with you. We want to have, and we want to have enough so we could hand down. And we planning for who dung go be. And you up and you didn't live and enjoy nothing and you dead like a nit and dung fighting. Dung who didn't know how nothing come from up want to fight for everything and own everything. And one person looked at me and gave me sufficient food for thought. That is where my father built for me, what your father built for you. My father died at the age of when I was 7 years old. What could he have possibly left for me? He gave me the most important thing, an opportunity to live, and an opportunity to be the change in the world that I want to be. an opportunity to shine, and an opportunity to progress, and an opportunity to live, and to give hope, and to bring strength to those who are weak and pained. That is better than any house, you know that? That is better than any amount of land, you know that? That is better than any amount of money in the bank, you know that? It tells us the snake is rejoicing and making his way to the Yagnashala. And as Takshat enters into the Yagnashala now, he has to change the disguise again. So carrying into the Yagnashala, there are the baskets of flowers, and the basket of fruits, and the Persad, and the mitai, and all of the nice things they're carrying into the Yagna. Takshat has to take a disguise when nobody will see him. He can't be a snake because they will recognize him. He can't be a sadhu because he'll be big. He has to take on some kind of size, some kind of form, so that he'll not be easily recognized. You know, some people pretend so well that you really can't recognize. You'd never be able to tell. You'd never be able to understand too. And when somebody tells you or brings it to your attention, what they're seeing is not what you see. Because you see, the pretension is so good. They play the role of pretending so well that they fool themselves too. They fool their own selves because they're pretending to be what they're not. I said to you that before I'm a pundit, I'm a human being. I said to you, before I could be a good son, I have to learn to be a good human being. I'm saying to you that before I could be a good neighbor and a good friend, I have to learn to be good to myself first. And if I can't be good to myself, then I can't be good to anybody, not even God. That's a fact. It is the truth. This morning, Takshat has to take a form. He has to find some avenue to enter into the Yagnashala. You know what Takshat does? Listen to what he does. Sote rupa takshat deka ashanti ka nagaharu ka vapas dekar hoi dekar takshat poolan hoi Seetahal 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 jai Siyavar Ram bolo
Seetahal 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 jai Siyavar Ram
Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam jai Siyavar Ram
Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam jai Siyavar Ram
Sote rupa takshat deke आसन देके फूल हरे के प्रार्थना लेकर राजा होई देकर सिंगी देकर होई सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम Passing by is a huge basket of flowers. And Takshat, Chote Roop. Chote means Chote Roop. He takes a small form like a little worm. And Takshat goes and he sits inside one of the flowers. And Takshat, he has his passport, he has his visa, and he has his entrance ticket to enter into the Yagnashala. As Takshat is taken, you know where they carry the flowers? Where do they carry the flowers? Up on the altar where the worship is being done. He has, you know which part he has his seat? What's the best seat in the cinema? Huh? Where you wanted to go? Long ago there was pit and there was balcony. You all remember? You ought to be all like me. But if ever I was in the balcony as a child, I will go and make sure and throw popcorn on the people down. I'll make sure. And if ever I was down, I will pray to God that they didn't do what I did to them. Now I know the philosophy of do unto others as you'll have them do unto you. But at that time, it seemed like the right fun thing to do. Like how Raja Parikshit thought that at that time it was the right thing to take the dead snake and put it around the neck because of anger. He thought it was the right thing, but look at what is happening because of that action. And so Takshat sits there. And so then, Janami Jai, Samit, Shringi, all the rishis they are around. And then Sukdev Muni says, we're about to chant the final verses. The son of Raja Parikshit, Janmejai, says, let us form a circle around my father. And everybody hold a weapon in their hand. So when the snake comes, we're ready. Everybody hold some kind of weapon. And everybody turn their back thinking that the snake will come from outside. They turn their back towards Raja Parikshit. In life, how much times people turn their back? People who are supposed to support you, how much times they turn their back on you? This is Katha talking and not Sunil talking. This is Katha talking. How much times people turn their back on you? And let me tell you something. You see the ones who turn their back, they get offended when they hear. They say, oh, you're pelting boulders on me and you're saying all kind of things and you go on there and you're talking about me and you want the whole world to know. Well, you want to know something? Once you know, you could make a change. The world didn't know it's you. You know it's you. So you make a change. Start making a change. That is what Yagna is. Yagna is to help us change and become better and polished. To remind us that while I am here, nothing here is mine. A day will come when we'll have to give up. I said to my mother yesterday, I say, Ma, some things are better just giving up. And if I am your son and you love me you will listen to me. There is something I want you to give up. And you know what my mother said to me? My mother for the first time said something to me. And I'm proud to tell you. She said that's the best advice anybody ever gave me. Well, you want to know something? Hearing those words from your lips is like God himself spoke to me and said, you gave the right advice. Do the right thing. And so, Sukdev Muni says, take flowers in your hand. Let's chant the final canto. You know the Pandit give you some flowers in your hand. And he says, final prayers. Let's pray. And you take the flowers. And what you do when you get the flowers? What you do? Automatically you pull it towards your hand, your heart, and you close your eye. Nobody has to tell you you're programmed. You already know what you have to do, isn't it? The final canto, the final chanting will happen. And Raja Parikshit, you know, it's our tradition too, that when we're doing the final pratna, whatever flowers remain in the basket, you try to take up as much as you can, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't that what you do? Raja Parikshit tips his hand down and he takes up a handful of flowers and he holds it close to his heart. Everybody's back is turned towards him because they think the enemy is coming from in front of them. But the enemy is already behind them. And as Raja Parikshit holds the flowers in his hand, the Katha tells us finally this morning. Aaj dere mein hum insan, ज्ञान का सूरज चमकारे भगवान. Sing with me, everybody. आज अंधेरे में है हम इंसान, ज्ञान का सूरज चमकारे भगवान. राजन होए प्रार्थना पिन कर सोए, देकर फूल चरावत देखी भगवान प्रार्थना होए. प्रगट हरे कर दक्षा दे, क्रोध सात हरे, देकर रूप दे तक्षक बिन कादे. इन यकियन को प्रभु कराए, इन यकियन को प्रभु कराए. हे सारे वरदान, हे सारे वरदान. चमकारे भगवान. Sing with me, everybody. आज अंधेरे जयकारे भगवान। आ आ आ Takshak. While everybody's back is turned and Raja Parikshit is praying, Takshak manifests in his true form. Huge snake. And Takshak stings Raja Parikshit right in his hand. Have you ever heard that the ability to control your life, whether how successful or what a failure you'll be, is in your hands? Have you ever heard that before? Have you ever heard that before? Your life is in your... Have you ever heard that before? Listen to when the snake stings Raja Parikshit in his... No amount of science, no amount of study, no amount of money, no amount of education, no amount of anything, no amount of scanning machines and is able to explain where life is in the body. Nothing. Nothing. The X-ray shows bones, the ultrasound shows. But there isn't a single thing that you can use to scan to see where the soul, where the life force is in the body. They say my foot dead. You ever hear that? Kitchena Junjani, my foot dead. You know much people their brain in Junjani and they didn't know? Huh? You could identify your foot in Junjani because you know why? You can't move. But because of the Junjani of your brain, it has prevented you from moving from the point that you are to the point that you should be at. Because we'll never be able to enjoy anything once we sit stagnantly. We must be able to get up and move and try to help ourselves, and then we'll be able to enjoy. On the pathway to success and on the pathway to happiness, you know how much days you'll have to cry? You know how much days you'll have to sit down and wonder, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? You know how much days people will say all the worst things about you and tell all the lies about you. And sometimes when you hear the lie, you have to sit down and ask, that's true, right? You too believe in the lie. The way it's singing like a bowl of cut up mango with bandania and salt and garlic. Huh? Chatak, chatak. You pass by the bowl of chow and you know what happened? Your mouth water. The chow is not your business, you know, but your mouth watering. That's how life is. People mouth water when they see you because you're like chow. Huh? That's what you are. You're appetizing. And nobody likes anybody to be more appetizing than them. Nobody likes anybody to shine more than them. So when they pass by a bowl of chow, you know what they do? They try to throw a handful of salt. When they pass by a bowl, they try to throw a little more pepper. When they pass by the bowl, they try to throw some black pepper. So when you put it in your mouth, you know it coming through your nose. Huh? But you must be able to know that whether what they throw, there is something you can do to correct that. The pot get too bitter, you know what you do? Cut up some tomato and throw it in it. I learned that from my grandmother. I am eating provision soup and I'm seeing tomatoes. I say, Ma, since when they put tomatoes in soup? She said, boy, if I tell you, I put a pepper and me even burst it and the thing bitter. So I put tomatoes to cut the pepper. I say, really? Really? The pot of pumpkin have too much water. What you do? What you do? Huh? What you do? You know what you do? You do something nobody will even think of doing. Get a pack of mashed potato. Upload it inside a day and you gote. Huh? And everybody said, boy, that man know to cook pumpkin. Well, if you know the disaster that pumpkin was, you'll never believe. The cook looked at me and he said, not one day you rate me up and call my name. I say, after I see all the madness you doing in this kitchen, you think I'm going to rate you up? But what seemed to be mad to me turned out to be the best food that anybody could have eaten in this Yagna. What to me seemed to be not my tradition and not my practice and something that I'm not accustomed to. turned out to be the best food. Everybody who passed by the karhi said that is the best karhi we ever eat. Isn't it? I want you to give the chef in the kitchen a round of applause. Because that which appeared to be disastrous turned out to be a blessing, something to enjoy. In the hand, in the palm of the hand, he stings Raja Parikshit. And Raja Parikshit falls, he slumps to the ground. Humne jag ki jab tasveer dekhi, ek haseta hai das rote. Humne jag ki jab tasveer dekhi, ek haseta hai das rote. ये प्रभु की अद्भुत जांजीर देखी, एक हंसता है दस रोते. Raja Parikshit slumps to the floor. Daksha, the snake, has performed its duty, and so as Daksha, he is now on the body of Raja Parikshit. Everybody's back is turned towards Raja Parikshit, and they're looking for the snake in different directions. And Raja Parikshit, with flowers in his hand, his pran, his life is leaving his body. His life is leaving his body. What will happen? हमने हंसते मुकरे चाँद मिले, दुखियारे चेहरे हजार मिले. हमने हंसते मुकरे चाँद मिले, दुखियारे चेहरे हजार मिले. यहाँ सुख से सौंप जी तीर देखी, एक हंसता है दस रोते हैं. हमने जग की जब तस्वीर देखी, एक हंसता है दस रोते. The body slumps to the ground. They turn around, and when they turn around, the son of Parikshit, Janmejai, goes and he grabs on to his father's body. And holding on to his father's body, he's shaking him. He's trying to wake him up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. But nothing will happen. And holding on to this body, what will happen? Cries, and he's saying, Doe sukiya halako mein, आंसू ही करो को आंखों के. दो एक सुखी लाखों में, आंसू ही करो को आंखों में. हमने जिन जिन हर तकदीर देखी, एक हंसता है दस रोते. Only if your father has died, you'll be able to experience. But there are fathers and there are fathers. There are fathers and there are fathers. There are fathers who will do everything to provide and make sure that their children are happy. And there are some fathers who will do everything to make sure that their children's life is miserable. There are fathers who will act selectively and give to some and deprive some, and with no remorse. And the ones that will do and try and fight and go to the end, the others will think that they're better and superior. You don't need to know. Nobody needs to call you to tell you anything. Nobody needs to explain anything to you. You are insignificant. You live somewhere else. We live here. And that's how everybody thinks. That's how everybody behaves. I and mine and yours, and what I could get and what I should get and what belongs to me. Principle and ethics and morals and values, they're all shelved and thrown away. One of the most difficult things is seeing your father in a box. I know. I experienced that when I was 7 years old. When my brother had to hold my hand and hold the puchara and say to me, come, walk faster now. You're walking too slow. Come walk faster and never forget. Hold my hand now. Hold my hand. Walk with me. My brother is saying that to me. You know the strangest thing? You'll never believe this. That was the last day I ever held the hand of my brother. Till today, I never held his hand. You know why? Because that is the memory I have of holding his hand. Walk with me now. Come. When I go, I try to keep away from him because when I see him, this is what I remember. But nobody could understand that. I will understand because that is pain that I felt. I can't expect you to feel my pain. I can't expect you to suffer my suffering. I can't. And when the world will see your father and say he's this and he's that and he's the next thing and he bad and he, to you that's your father, that's your God. To you it's because of him you exist and you are a depth of gratitude. And my brother saying to me, as we light it, we'll move, right? Hold my hand. I'll never forget. I'll never, ever, ever forget that. He holds on to the body of his father and he's shaking. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. But you know what? कुछ बोर प्रभु ये क्या माया तेरा कील समझ में ना आया कुछ बोल प्रभु ये क्या माया तेरा कील समझ में ना आया हमने देख महलवा तीर देखी एक हंसता है दस रोते हमने जग की जब तस्वीर देखी एक हंसता है दस रोते. Out of rage, Janmi Jai gets up and Janmi Jai grabs hold of the snake Takshat and Janmi Jai throws Takshat the snake into the Hawan. And Janmi Jai is mad, he's furious, he's angry his father's died. And Janmi Jai, he is now the king in the absence of his father. He is now the king. He has now taken on the mantle of being the leader. But he didn't get it the wrong way. He didn't cheat to get it. He didn't rob to get it. He didn't force himself into the position. It was given to him. And so, being given the position, now acting as the king, he made a rule. Find all the snakes that you could find and bring them and throw them in the fire. Or snakes will cause death. And as they begin to bring all the snakes and they begin to throw them in the fire, the Pushpak Viman, the celestial chariot came down and the Atma, the soul of Parikshit, sat on that chariot. And as the chariot started to ascend, Parikshit was happy because all the beings on that chariot looked and appeared to be just like that of Lord Vishnu. They appeared to be just like that of Lord Vishnu, the Vishnu Doots. But as the chariot started to ascend and the snakes started to be poured into the fire, you know what happened? The chariot started to come back down. The chariot started to come back down. Instead of going up, the chariot started to come back down. And Raja Parikshit, his soul is asking, why? Why am I coming back down? Why am I not going to the realms of the Devatas? Why? What is happening? And the Vishnu Dut saying, look at what your son is doing. Look at the actions of your son. He's causing pain and he's causing hurt and he's causing death to animals that did nothing to him. People look at people they have never seen or known or had a conversation with and they say, I don't like he. I don't like she. When I see she, my blood is bubble. Well, I have an idea. Take a picture of that person to make your blood bubble and put it on your screen, save on your phone. Because if your blood wasn't bubbling, you know what happened? You'll be bubbling elsewhere. That person is helping you to appreciate the bubble. So put them on your phone screen and look at them all the time and learn to love them first. We should never allow anybody to take away our peace of mind. We should never allow anybody to attack us in a place that is private. to ourselves. What is the most private part of your body? What's the most private part of your body? See what you thought about? Because you have to wear clothes to hide the private part of the body. The most private part of your body is every part of your body. Because every part of your body is special to you. True or not? If something is wrong with your eye, will I be affected? If something is wrong with your tongue, will I be affected? If something is wrong with your fingernail, will I be affected? If something is wrong with your mustache, will I be affected? Huh? Every part of your body is private and special. True or not? In some religions, you know what they do? They cover their whole body so nobody will see. They're private about it. Because my body is my temple, my sanctuary. Huh? You go to the Yagna and the Baba say, "Ole put all the urni on all the head," and they say, where they get he from? In this day and age, the place hot and all kind of thing, and where we put in on urni and why here put on a urni? Robbie came to me and he said, why are you not wrapping your head? Why are you not, you're supposed to wrap the head and read the Bhagwat. And I said to him, Robbie, there are many things we are supposed to do and we don't do. And I said, before I could wrap that pagri, I'm supposed to shave my head and then wrap the pagri. But I did not shave my head, and I'm not going to wrap that pagri. You know, if I did that, you know how much critics I'll have? Oh, look, Sukdev Muni. Put on pagri and sit down up there and da 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 and da 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 da. My karma has permitted me to be where I am. And by the words that you utter about me, good, bad, or indifferent, will accumulate to your karma. But anytime you say something good, it will come as a blessing to me. But anytime you say something bad, you are erasing my karma. So please say more bad things. Please. So that when my life, my existence comes to an end, I will be granted salvation. One person came up to me and said, "Oh, you and that lady, Chandra, you are friends." And I said, "Yes. She is not my friend. She's my best friend. But she is not my only best friend. Everybody is my best friend, do you know? And everybody is my friend, and I maintain a very good relationship with everybody. You know why? Because I have learned. I have learned that in order for me to have a friendship with you, I must stand by the fundamental fact of knowing when enough is enough. Hello, hi, and good. I meet you, I love you, I kiss you, kuchi kuchi ko. Bye. Bye. And I don't have to do everything you tell me to do. I don't have to follow everything you instruct me to do. On the other hand, I am the Guru. In the Guru Purnima, when we listen to the Katha of Guru, we listen to how important it is to follow the instruction of Guru. The sun is, and so the chariot is coming down. And he says, "Can I talk? Can I talk? Can I say something?" Raja Parikshit wants to talk, but he is dead. If your dead father or your dead mother or your dead relative had an opportunity to talk, what do you think they'll be telling you? What do you think they'll tell you? Ma, if my father had an opportunity to talk, what do you think he'll tell you? He said, "Girl, you sit down there and you even put a chair for me." Huh? That's what he will say. What will they say? You think they'll be proud? You think they'll be happy? Huh? Look at the actions of the son. That's why the sons are the ones chosen to do the after-death ceremonies. That's why they're the ones, and they're supposed to spend their time offering pinda and tarpan and listening to the glories of katha and shaving their head and fasting and purifying their body. But what's the sense? You're pitching pinda and that's what you do, eh? You pitch it. Pitching pinda and offering water, and you're talking to your sister and you're talking to your brother and you doing your own thing and them doing them thing, and what peace will that bring to the soul? Pieces. That's what it will bring to the soul. It will shatter the soul into pieces. Because everybody is supposed to come together. That's why we have Yagna. You know why we have Yagna? So everybody will come together. In one accord, the artist says, you know what the artist says in the final verse? The artist says, Tuma Purana Paramatma, Tuma Antaryami. What it says again? What it says again? It says, Santanaki Seva, Santanaki Seva. All of us, we came in one accord with one thing in mind, Santanaki Seva. Put you, God, in mind. We're waving the arti. Never allow us to be in darkness. That's what it says. You sing the arti all the time, Jai Jagadisha Hari, and you go home and you like Lankini again. Make no sense. None. It says, Raja Parikshit says, I want to talk. And the voice of Raja Parikshit could be heard. The voice. Not from his body. The voice is echoing from somewhere. And the voice says, stop what you are doing. It is causing pain and hurt to me. Stop it at once. And in reply, his son is saying, what should I do then? Tell me, what should I do? He says, listen to the Devi Bhagwat. Listen to the verses of the Devi Bhagwat. Do that Bhagwat now. He's occupying his son in praying. So that no mischief will be done. So that no revenge. The best revenge is no revenge, you know. Surrender, give up and move on. That's what you have to do. No revenge. None. It's the best revenge. And so, preparations are now being made not only for the funeral, but to listen to the Devi Bhagwat. There is a sequence, or there is an order in which yajnas are supposed to be hosted if you're afforded the opportunity to have a yajna. You don't just decide, well, I want to have a yajna, and you don't just decide, well, I want to listen to the Ramayana, or I want to listen to the Shiva Puran, or I want to do this. It is not always about what you want. It is sometimes about the right thing to do. And so, that's why the best person to advise is your Pandit, your Guru. He's the best person to give the advice of what you should do, why you should do it, how you should go about doing it, so that you will get maximum blessing out of the minimum worship. Maximum fruits will come. Raja Parikshit, he has died, and now the king Kali begins to rule. Kali enters into the kingdom, and there isn't a person that Kali is afraid of. Kali has gone to live in land, and he has gone to live in gold, and he has gone to live in money, and he has gone to live in the gambling houses, and he has gone to live in the Madhushala. You know what's a Madhushala? You know what's a Madhushala? Rum shop. He has gone to live in the places where these vices, they're celebrated. And that's why you see it is so addicting. That's why you see it's so addicting, and you can't understand the addiction. But it's because Kali lives in these things. And so now Kali has entered. What will happen? What will it continue to say now after the death of Raja Parikshit? In our Bhagwat Saptaha, for 2023, we begin to listen. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. As a little child, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. But as a little child, we weren't privileged to have one of those big televisions, but we had a small one. And one of the things about our television is that once there was something religious or educational in pertinence to Dharma, we would always tune in, we would always get in there. And on a Sunday morning, I remember, there was a TV program. And that TV program will always begin, Yada yada hi dharmasya granir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam smrajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya sadhuskritam dharma sanstarpanartaya sambhavani yuge yuge. And there will be a shank that will be blown at the end of that. And I used to sit there by the television and I looked on. And every time I looked on, there will always be something educational to be learned. There will always be something that you can add to your bank of being a Hindu to become a little more wealthy in being a Hindu. Where education was given and verses from scripture and many different things. And voices of children will be heard and many different things. The host of that program was a female. She was the host of that program. And I looked at her on the television all the time. And there are many times I would have prayed, I would have wished, maybe I could come into contact with this pain, or maybe, I could learn so much from her teachings, and maybe. And I threw that out to the universe when I was a little child. Do you know that hostess? I came into contact with her, and you know where, Dave? You know where? Here. She said to me, don't acknowledge me. Don't call me. Please, I'm begging you. There is something wrong with the connection. And I'll be failing in my duty if I don't acknowledge you. I'll be failing in my duty because I owe a debt of gratitude to you. And I owe a debt of gratitude to you, just like many Hindus owe a debt of gratitude to you. For you are not only an educator because you work in education and ministry, but you're an educator because you helped us to fly the flag of Dharma through your efforts as well. And she's here with us this morning. I want you to come, both of you, come. I want you to take my mama. And I want you to take the arti, and I want you to go to her. You see that girl sitting there in the third row, in red? You see that beautiful lady next to her with the black mask? See her? In the third row, right here. In the third row, Auntie Pam, Dan's mother, and the third girl. You seeing her? And next to her, there is a lady there in brown. Is it brown? And she's wearing an urni and a black mask. Can you go to her? You can't get vexed twice with me. That's okay. That's all right. I'll take that. I'm versed in receiving that. I get that from all directions. And you know what? That's what helps me to be who I am. Can you stand up? And this morning, her name is Vimala Tota Maharaj, the daughter of the late Sat Maharaj. This morning, sing with me, everybody, as we eulogize her. Tum hi ho mata, pita tum hi ho. Give a hug for me. Saka tum hi ho ma, tum hi ho mata, pita tum hi ho bandhu, saka tum hi ho ma, ho ma. That's not all. You have to come to the microphone. Can you take the microphone to her? She has to give her blessing this morning. In whatever way she chooses to. That's totally up to her. Tum hi ho mata, pita tum hi ho bandhu, saka tum hi ho ma, ho ma. Oh ma, oh ma, oh ma, oh ma, oh ma, oh ma, oh ma.
Pandit Sunil, Seetahal-Maharaj, I consider you a son, beta. Didi, don't feel offended by that. But Sunil has, Pandit, sorry, I apologize.
You can call me Sunil, I'm your son.
My eldest son's name is Sunil also. Vyasji, you have fulfilled the needs of thousands of devotees across this country. Not only Trinidad and Tobago, internationally. Because everyone here, everyone viewing, everyone listening has a need. And you have fulfilled that need. You have made us cry. You made me cry this morning because I keep thinking of my father and mother, especially my best friend, my father. You put me in a lot of trouble this morning with my son, my youngest son, Vasudev, who takes care of me, and he orders me around, sister. So expect more from your son. You laugh, you cry, you pray, you pull lessons out of what Panditji has brought to you, and also you are able to apply those lessons not only to yourself, but to your children and your grandchildren. I would like to share one personal thing with you. One year while I was very young, also a mother already, my father decided that all his grandchildren and his immediate children go to Losiro. Now everybody is happy, thinking we're going to the beach. So everybody packed beachwear. He told my mother Shanti, he said, only cook vegetarian food. No, everybody fasting for this week. And he took us to the forest in Losiro. There is a temple there. And in that temple, Akutia, his 7 grandsons, all toddlers, were sitting with him. And he said, Malagil, we're doing a Bhagwat today. First Bhagwat, impromptu Bhagwata. Just about 20 of us. Grandchildren, sons, daughters, in-laws. And he started with Bhagavata Bhagavan Ki Jai. Now my son Vasudev, the youngest son, every time he hears that, he starts to sing. Now he's not a singer. And I start to cry. So I've been crying for 7 days, 21 sessions. But it has been helping me tremendously because I told Panditji that I have been reclusive for 13 years. That is, I have been going out in the public for 13 years. I just go to the grocery, pharmacy, and back home. Because my mother passed away 13 years ago. She was the person, Shanti, who cooked for thousands of children at the Mahasabha. And when she passed away, I couldn't get the energy to attend a Yagna. I couldn't attend a Bhagwat. I couldn't attend any religious function because Ma was so important to me. It was a shock when we lost her. But every lesson this morning, I could relate to it, Panditji. I can relate to it. And I told you earlier, your star is moving up, higher in the sky. You are shining more. And when you shine more, the arrows are aimed at you. And when the arrows are aimed at you, this is where Nigel, Nadira, Dave, Cindy, and the other members of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation will surround you and protect you. And as you said, we ignore the detractors. If it wasn't for the health problems, I would deal with the detractors. Now, I asked my son during this week, I said, please get a picture of Pandit Sunil for me. He said, but Mom, and he pulled, you know, the young generation, pulled the phone. Look, he's sitting here with your father. August 2019. And Dad passed away November 2019. My father had changed dramatically when Ma died. He said, you know what, girl? You can't come just so, you know. You can't come home just so anymore. Your mother not here. This is how important our mother was to us. We will have to meet outside. And nobody knew, except his driver, that Dad used to go to City Mall to meet me. He used to come home. He used to go carry me by his best friend to meet me. He said, Gil, I have to do this. I said, Dad, you know why you have to do this? Because I don't want you to be ill-treated by those who are living with you. You are at their mercy. So we continued like this for several years. And then in 2019, when I was going up for medical attention in London, he called about 3 weeks before he passed away. He said, I have something to tell you. I said, Pops, what do you have to tell me? He said, I ain't seen 2020, you know. He said, girl, we had to sing some bhajan and we have to say some prayers. You and me alone, nobody else. I said, okay, Pops, tell me where to meet you. And we will organize both of us alone, nobody else. And I did that with him, because he was my greatest teacher. It so happened also, I will stop you in a second. It so happened also, I was shocked when you said Pandit Uttam is your Guruji. Because Pandit Uttam, his father-in-law was my guru, Pandit Krishna, the late Pandit Krishna. But Pandit Uttam, knowing that I wanted to be a Pandit, because I used to question why I wasn't born a boy. And Pandit Uttam would say, you don't worry, maybe next janam. I said, okay, Panditji, next janam. But he taught me how to do pujas. And many young Pandits in this country, I was able to train them to become Pandits. Even one of my own sons. So even though we women cannot be Pandits, now I'm not, attacking the males. Even though we women cannot become Pandits, we are leaders. We are ministers of finance. We are ministers of housing. Don't we have accounts? Don't we have to buy stuff? Don't we hand out the money to do things? So we are ministers in our homes. We are the prime minister. So remember that. Remember you are leaders in your home. But as this young star rises, this young man, I would like you to surround him and help him climb the ladder where he sits on top. Because before he passed away, Dad told me that a particular young Pandit would rise. And when that young Pandit rises, Mala, for goodness sake, go wherever that young Pandit has prayers. And my son was in shock when I said, I am going down to that place. I have never heard of this place. Sorry, Dave and Cindy. I've never heard of this place. We got lost on the way the first time, but we reached here. So youngster, young man, is no maker defect or manufacturer defect. Bhagwan is guiding you. So if something comes out of the mouth which you feel will offend someone, then it is justified. Jai Seetahal.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
After every yagna, we would have hosted. Though I will insist that no formal vote of thanks will be done, upon our WhatsApp chat, there is one person who will go and he will take the time. I don't know where he gets the energy and the effort from, and he begins to thank everybody, from the ones that we could remember to the ones that we did not remember, from the ones who did and the ones who did not do either. They will be thanked also, and they'll be thanked technically, and they will reply thank you. That's how technical he is. I'm going to save him that typing this morning. They have all been very emotional for the past few days. I'm going to hand over the microphone to him, and I want you to do the vote of thanks in words. I don't want you to do it in writing. I don't want to read anything shocking in the vote of thanks. So we'll do the vote of thanks before we do the Havan. I'm also going to ask you, Ashish, I want you to hold the hand of Auntie Vimala and bring her up to do the Havan with us. Cheryl, you all will give her